House to consider this afternoon, and of course an update on the business that was considered on the floor of the House on Friday, 31st October 2025. On live commentary, my name is Tazat Piri.
And my name is Joe Myunda Akatama. Of course, we're joined by our two sign language interpreters, Jason Manda and Chola Kaoma. Good afternoon.
Indeed, we go straight into business that was considered on Friday, 31st October 2025. And when business commenced, Madam Speaker did make some announcements. In the first announcement, Madam Speaker recognized the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from My Father's House School in Lusaka District. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly.
And in the second announcement, Madam Speaker did recognize the presence in the public gallery of councillors from Katombala Parliamentary Constituency, and on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, Madam Speaker welcomed the visitors to the institution.
After the two announcements, the House went on to consider urgent matters without notice. The following urgent matters without notice under Standing Order 142 were raised. The first matter was raised by Mr. Stephen Kampyongo, who is Shuangandu Member of Parliament, and his subject matter was on the safety of Zambians who were in the Republic of Tanzania following the post-general election conflict that arose in the country. This matter was inadmissible.
The second one did come from Mr. Francis Kampyanga Mpika, Member of Parliament, on the subject matter on the delayed release of the Constituency Development Fund to councils, thereby affecting commencement of projects in the country, and this matter was equally not admitted.
And the third matter did come from Lundazi Member of Parliament, that's Ms. Brenda Nyirenda. Her subject matter was on the delayed completion of a new bus station in Lundazi district. This matter was inadmissible.
Thereafter, there was consideration of questions without notice during our honor the Vice President, a segment over 45 minutes.
And after the consideration of our honor the Vice President's question time, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation made a statement on Zambia's participation at the 80th United Nations General Assembly held at the United Nations headquarters in New York from 22nd to 29th September 2025, the 20th meeting of the COMESA Ministers of Foreign Affairs and the 24th COMESA Summit of Heads of State and Government, both of which were held in Nairobi, Kenya from 8th to 9th October 2025. The Minister briefed the House on the focus, highlights and key outcomes of the three aforementioned meetings. And must make mention that notice was taken at 11:02 hours, that quorum not formed. Madam Speaker ordered the bells to be rung, House counted, and quorum having been formed, business resumed. Joe?
Yes, after that there was a motion which was moved by Mr. Fred Chatila, who is a Mwamba Member of Parliament. In moving this motion, he was urging the House to adopt the report of the Planning and Budgeting Committee on the consideration of the 2026 Annual Borrowing Plan for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 16th October 2025, and the motion was seconded by Kafulafuta Member of Parliament, Mr. Jeffrey Mulewa, and the motion was adopted.
Yes, indeed, that motion was adopted, and we must make mention, Joe, that the House also considered questions for oral answer numbers 44 and 45 under Standing Order 80. The House did adjourn accordingly at 12:58 hours. We now shift our attention to today's order paper. That's the business that we expect the House to consider this afternoon. We do expect some announcements. We also expect some rulings. Thereafter, we do expect the House to consider urgent matters without notice. We also expect one ministerial statement to be rendered by the Minister of Agriculture, and we also expect 8 government bills to be presented by the Minister of Finance and National Planning, and we expect the House to consider 3 questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80, and one motion, that's a motion of supply, that is expected to be moved by the Minister of Finance and National Planning. We get to the details, Joe.
Yes, indeed, Chaza. So we have a ministerial statement. The Minister of Agriculture is expected to render a ministerial statement on the delayed payments to farmers who supplied maize to the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, and on the measures being taken by the government to ensure safe storage of maize grain collected from farmers by the Food Reserve Agency.
And thereafter we do expect the presentation of the 8 government bills, and these will be presented by the Minister of Finance and National Planning. The first one being the Income Tax Amendment number 2, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2025, a bill seeking to amend the Income Tax Act. And the second bill will be the Customs and Excise Act Amendment number 2, National Assembly Bill number 20 of 2025, a bill seeking to amend the Customs and Excise Act.
The other one is the Value Added Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 21 over 2025, and this bill seeks to amend the Value Added Tax Act. The fourth one is the Zambia Revenue Authority Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 22 over 2025. The bill seeks to amend the Zambia Revenue Authority Act as well.
Other bills include the Property Transfer Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2025. That's a bill seeking to amend the Property Transfer Act. And we also expect the Mobile Money Transaction Levy Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2025, a bill seeking to amend the Mobile Money Transaction Levy Act.
And of course, we also do expect Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry to present the bill, the Registration of Business Names Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2025. The bill seeks to amend the Registration of a Business Act, and the other bill to be considered is the Betting Levy, National Assembly Bill number 31 over 2025, and some of the objectives of this bill is to provide for the imposition, payment and collection of betting levy, and provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing.
So after the presentation of the 8 government bills, we do expect questions for oral answer. That's Understanding Order 80, and question 46 is expected to be asked by Mr. Simon Banda, who is Petauke Central Member of Parliament, and this question will be directed to the Minister of Labour and Social Security. He wants to know in Part A whether the National Pension Scheme Authority (NASA) has any plans for building in Petauke district. In Part B, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and in Part C, if there are no such plans, why?
And Ms. Chrysosta Havindi, Kawe Central Member of Parliament, will pose a question to the Minister of Water Development and Sanitation. She wants to find out in 3 parts. In A, whether the government has any plans to replace the extensively corroded sewer pipes leading to the discharge ponds in Shamavanze Township in Kawe District. In B, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and if there are no such plans, why?
And question 48, which will be the third question for oral answer Understanding Order 80, is expected to be asked by Mr. Mlenga Fube, who is Chilubi Member of Parliament, and his question will be directed to the Minister of Agriculture. He wants to know in A, what the staff establishment for agricultural extension officers for Chilubi district was as of June 2025. In B, how many agricultural extension officers there were in the district from 2021 to 2024 year by year. In C, whether the government has any plans to recruit additional. D, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and in E, if there are no such plans, why?
Yes, indeed, after consideration of those ordinary questions, Understanding Order 80, we do expect the Minister of Finance and National Planning to move a motion. In moving this motion, the Minister will be urging the House to resolve into Committee of Supply on the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 1st January 2026 to 31st December 2026, presented to the National Assembly in September 2025.
Yes, indeed. So basically, that's the business that we expect the House to consider this afternoon. And in case you need to access this order paper, you can access it on www.parliament.gov.zm. And anytime from now, we will be able to see Madam Speaker's procession making its way into the chamber. That will signify the commencement of the business this afternoon. And just now we excite you to some live pictures from the chamber as members of parliament with their presiding officers' procession to make its way into the chamber.
Honorable members of parliament, Madam Speaker. Yeah.
Tendency of Zambia, proud and free, land of wealth and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for our right. We want freedom's fight, oh, one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by those who blend. Let us all our people join as one, brothers under the sun, oh, one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry. Dignity and peace is Zambia's sky, like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free. Praise be to God, praise be, bless our great Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Remain we stand under the flag of our land. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the officers of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation, in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Honorable members, I have two announcements, and the first announcement, honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Marigold Trust Christian School in Lusaka district. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. I thank you. You may take your seats. The next announcement, honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from the following schools in Senga Hill Parliamentary Constituency. Menje Secondary, Kalili Secondary, Senga Hill Secondary, Mpande Day Secondary, Nondo Day Secondary, Kalila Primary, Senga Hill Primary, and Chimula Primary. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. I thank you. You are most welcome. You may take your seats. Honorable members, this is a ruling on the complaint by Mr. Oliver Amutike, MP, Member of Parliament for Mongo Central Constituency, against Mr. Binwa Mpundu, Member of Parliament for Nkana Constituency, and Mr. Francis R. Kapyanga, Member of Parliament for Mpika Constituency, for allegedly using informal language in the House and unparliamentary language towards him. Honorable members, I have a ruling to render against Mr. Bimpundu, Member of Parliament from Nkana Parliamentary Constituency, and Mr. F.R. Kapyanga, Member of Parliament for Mpika Constituency. As per our practice and procedure, a member who is found in breach of parliamentary privilege and contempt of the House is required to be present in the House when the ruling is delivered. In that regard, the members were contacted by the Office of the Clerk to remind them to be present in the House. Today, Tuesday, 4th November 2025. However, Mr. Bimpundu, MP, has elected to absent himself from the House. I will nonetheless proceed to render the ruling. Honorable members, I wish to inform the House that on Tuesday, 3rd July 2025, my office received a letter of complaint from Mr. O. Amutike, Member of Parliament for Mongu Central Constituency, against Mr. B. Mpundu, MP, and Mr. F.R. Kampianga, MP. In the complaint, Mr. O. Amutike, MP, alleged that on Wednesday, 2nd July 2025, when the House resolved into Committee of Supply to consider the supplementary estimate number 1 of 2025, Mr. B. Mpundu, MP, conducted himself in a manner that disregarded the rules that govern the House by using informal and unparliamentary language against him in the House. He further alleged that Mr. F.R. Kampianga, MP, in the debate referred to him as a Freemason. Honorable members, in line with parliamentary practice and procedure, and in accordance with the rules of natural justice, on Thursday, 17th July 2025, the Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly of Zambia wrote to Mr. B. Mpundu, MP, and Mr. F.R. Kampianga, MP, requesting them to state their side of the story on the complaint. Honorable members, Mr. B. Mpundu, MP, did not respond to the letter requesting him to state his side of the story. Further, all efforts to get a response from the member by the Office of the Clerk proved futile. Mr. F.R. Kampianga, MP, on the other hand, responded to the letter from the Office of the Clerk. I will deal with the response by Mr. F.R. Kampianga, MP, as I deal with the complaint against him. Honorable members, before delving into the issues raised by the complaint, I wish to address the repeated failure by members to respond to correspondence from the Office of the Clerk, particularly where serious allegations relating to breach of privileges are involved. It is important to emphasize that failure to respond to correspondence from the Office of the Clerk undermines the authority of the House and shows disrespect for its processes. It is therefore regrettable that despite repeated efforts, Mr. B. Mpundu, MP, did not respond to the letter requesting him to state his side of the story. I wish to urge you all, honorable members, to endeavor to respond promptly to communications from the Office of the Clerk, as this reflects accountability and upholds the dignity of the House. Honorable members, the complaint by Mr. O. Amutike, MP, raises the following issues. 1. A member using unparliamentary language against another member. 2. A member using informal language during the proceedings and debates of the Assembly. I will deal with the first one. A member using unparliamentary language against another member. Honorable members, the conduct of members of Parliament is regulated by various laws and rules that seek to uphold the dignity of the House and also ensure the smooth transaction of business of the House. In this regard, Standing Order 213, 1 and 2 of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, enjoins all members to conduct themselves in a manner that maintains the dignity and decorum of the House. It provides as follows, and I quote: 1. A member shall at all times conduct himself or herself in a manner that upholds the dignity, integrity, and decorum of the House. 2. A member shall not act in a manner that brings the House or other members generally into disrepute. End of quote. Further, Standing Order 72-1 defines unparliamentary language as follows, and I quote: unparliamentary language refers to the use of offensive, provocative, insulting, threatening, or obscene language in the House. End of quote. Additionally, Standing Order 72-2 prohibits a member from using unparliamentary language in the House. Honorable members, eminent writers on parliamentary practice and procedure, Audrey O'Brien and Mark Bosco, in their book entitled House of Commons Procedure and Practice, 2nd edition, Ottawa, House of Commons, 2009, states at page 618 as follows. The proceedings of the House are based on a long-standing tradition of respect for the integrity of all members. Thus, the use of offensive, provocative, or threatening language in the House is strictly forbidden. Personal attacks, insults, and obscenities are not in order. 2. A member using informal language during the proceedings and the debates of the Assembly. Standing Order 235 of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, provides that the proceedings and debates of the Assembly shall be in the English language. Honorable members, in considering this matter, I had recourse to the relevant verbatim record and video footage of what transpired on the material day. I will address the complaint against Mr. Bimpondo, MP first, before proceeding to address the complaint against Mr. F.R. Kapyanga, MP. The video footage shows Mr. Bimpondo, MP, uttering unpalatable words using informal language while on the floor. In quotes, walifulungana, aha, kwati chalipe na zona. Iwe, eteke panshi, na iwe, teyambi molu, leka kuko, leka tukonka nyepo, na iwe. Pardon my Pemba, but I'm trying. Meaning, you are mad. You are mad. You are really mad. And put them down, you. Not else but the legs. Allow me to continue. End of quote. However, it is difficult to ascertain from the footage to whom the words were directed. That notwithstanding, the verbatim record of the material day clearly shows that Mr. Bimpondo, MP, uttered the said words in question after Mr. O. Amutike, MP, indicated to raise a point of order. It is therefore apparent that the words were directed at Mr. O. Amutike, MP. In view of the foregoing, I find that Mr. Bimpondo, MP, was out of order. I'll come back to this matter later. Allow me now to deal with the complaint against Mr. F.R. Kapyanga, MP. Honorable members, in his response to the complaint against him dated Friday, 18th July 2025, Mr. F.R. Kapyanga, MP, raised two issues. First, he stated that at no point did he refer to Mr. O. Amutike, MP, as a Freemason, and expressed dismay as to why his remarks were interpreted in that manner, especially that he had not mentioned Mr. O. Amutike, MP, by name. Secondly, he argued that the letter of complaint did not specify the standing order allegedly breached, and on that basis considered the complaint to be without merit and believed it should be treated as such. Honorable members, the video footage of the material day Honorable members, from the video footage of the material day, it is evident that Mr. F.R. Kapyanga, MP, uttered the following unparliamentary words alleged in the complaint. Iwe Freemason na iwe, ikalapansha, meaning you Freemason, sit down. However, the footage does not clearly show to whom the words were directed. That said, the verbatim record of the proceedings of the material day confirms that while Mr. F.R. Kapyanga, MP, was on the floor, Mr. O. Amutike, MP, indicated his intention to raise a point of order. At that moment, Mr. F.R. Kapyanga, MP, uttered the words as alleged. Based on the sequence of events in the verbatim record, it is evident that the remarks in question were directed at Mr. O. Amutike, MP, as they were made immediately after he sought to raise a point of order. Honorable members, in his defense, Mr. F.R. Kapyanga, MP, stated that the complaint did not refer to any standing order. I have had sight of Mr. O. Amtike MP's complaint, which was duly availed to Mr. F.R. Kapyanga MP. In his letter of complaint, Mr. O. Amtike MP alleged that Mr. F.R. Kapyanga MP breached Standing Order 72 and 235 of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2024. In that regard, Mr. F.R. Kapyanga's assertion that the complaint against him did not refer to any standing order is unfounded. Honorable members, considering the nature of the words used by Mr. F. Kapyanga MP against Mr. O. Amtike MP, I have, in exercise of my powers under Section 28(1)(b) of the National Assembly of Zambia Powers and Privileges Act, decided to admonish Mr. F.R. Kapyanga MP. Mr. F.R. Kapyanga, I now turn to admonish you. If you can raise, thank you. The House is disappointed with your conduct. It is unfortunate that you chose to utter inappropriate words against a fellow member on the floor of the House. Such language is not only disrespectful to your colleague, but also distracts from the dignity and decorum that this House strives to uphold. This is an august House, and honorable members are expected to conduct themselves with civility, mutual respect, and the highest standard of integrity. Your behavior falls short of these expectations. As the custodian of the rules and procedures of this House, I must remind you that it is my duty to safeguard its integrity. I urge you, therefore, to reflect on your conduct and ensure that your future debates are guided by respect for others and adherence to the rules that govern us all. I now order you, Mr. F.R. Kapyanga MP, to read your apology and therefore resume your seat.
Madam Speaker, I have the written apology. I, Francis Robert Kapyanga, in my personal capacity and in my capacity as a Member of Parliament from Pika constituency, do unreservedly apologize to you, Madam Speaker, this august House, and the nation for using informal and parliamentary language on the floor of the House against Mr. O. Amtike, Member of Parliament. Madam Speaker, having reflected on my conduct, which amounts to a breach of parliamentary decorum and etiquette, I wish to assure you, Madam Speaker, that this August House, that from now on, I shall endeavor to ensure that the honor and decorum and dignity of the House is protected and preserved at all times. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member of Parliament from Pika. Now, Honorable Members, I address Mr. Bimpundu MP. Order, Honorable Members. Honorable Members, although Mr. Bimpundu MP is not present in the House, I will proceed to address him in absentia. Honorable Members, having considered the gravity and offensive nature of the words uttered by Mr. Bimpundu MP on the floor of the House, I find it necessary to mete out a stiffer punishment in order to uphold the dignity and decorum of the House. Therefore, in exercise of my powers as of the National Assembly Powers and Privileges Act, I am of the view that Mr. Bimpundu MP should be suspended from the service of the House, service of the National Assembly for a period of 14 days. Thus, in accordance with Section 28(2) of the National Assembly Powers and Privileges Act, which requires all the honorable members, let's listen. Thus, in accordance with Section 28(2) of the National Assembly Powers and Privileges Act, which requires a resolution of the House to suspend a member from the House, I now put the question. The question is that the House suspends Mr. Bimpundu MP for a period of 14 days with effect from today, Tuesday, 4th November 2025. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary say no. No. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The House resolves accordingly. Mr. Bimpundu MP, your suspension as resolved by the House is 14 days from today, Tuesday 4th to Monday 17th November 2025. Honorable members, as I said, I have two rulings. I'll go to the next ruling. Okay, let me just see what. This is the second or the ruling on the complaint by a member of Parliament from Lovezi constituency against Mr. Bimpundu, member of Parliament from Kana constituency, for statements attributed to Mr. Bimpundu MP in an article entitled Benue slums current Parliament as useless, published in the mass newspaper produced number 4655 SM 454 dated Saturday 5th July 2025. Honorable members, I have a ruling to render against Mr. Bimpundu, member of Parliament from Kana constituency, on a complaint from Engineer Ara Mavenga, member of Parliament from Lovezi constituency. As per our practice and procedure, a member who is found in breach of parliamentary privilege and contempt of the House is required to be present in the House when the ruling is delivered. In that regard, the member was contacted by the office of the clerk to remind him to be present in the House today, Tuesday, 4th November 2025. However, the member has elected to absent himself from the House. I will nonetheless proceed to render the ruling. Honorable members, I wish to inform the House that on Wednesday, 9th July 2025, my office received a letter of complaint from Engineer Ara Mavenga, Member of Parliament from Lovezi constituency, against Mr. Bimpundu, Member of Parliament from Kana constituency, for statements attributed to Mr. Bimpundu, MP, in an article entitled Benue slums current Parliament as useless, published in the mass newspaper produced in edition number 4655 SM 454 dated Saturday 5th July 2025. In the said article, Mr. Bimpundu MP alleged that the Speaker of the National Assembly of Zambia had allowed members of Parliament from the United Party for National Development UPND to insult opposition and independent members of Parliament. Mr. Bimpundu MP further stated in the said article that National Assembly is useless today and he wouldn't want to be re-elected as a member of Parliament unless there were changes in terms of composition of presiding officers of the National Assembly. Engineer Aramabenga MP contended that Mr. Bimpundu MP's comments contravened Standing Order 2151 and 222B of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2024. In line with parliamentary practice and procedure and in accordance with the rules of natural justice, on 23rd July 2025, the Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly of Zambia officially wrote to Mr. Bimpundu MP requesting him to confirm whether or not the statements in the said article were correctly attributed to him. However, there was no response received from him. Similarly, on 23rd July 2025, aforementioned, the Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly wrote to the Editor-in-Chief of the mass newspaper requesting for confirmation whether or not the statements alleged to have been made by Mr. Bimpundu MP in the article had been correctly attributed to him. The Editor-in-Chief of the mass newspaper stated that the story in the article was sourced from an interview by Mr. Bimpundu MP when he featured on the DJ Show Star podcast on 3rd July 2025, and therefore the story was as monitored on the podcast. Honorable members, the complaint by Engineer Aramabenga MP raises the issue of a member committing contempt of the House by publishing or making a statement reflecting on the character or impartiality of the Speaker or the proceedings of the Assembly. In this regard, Section 19D and E of the National Assembly Powers and Privileges Act, Chapter 12 of the Laws of Zambia provides that, and I quote, 19. Any person shall be guilty of an offense who, D, shows disrespect in speech or manner towards the somebody said in on ninth cloud. There, from here I can hear some soft snoring. We understand it's hot. So I'll continue with my ruling. D, shows respect in speech or manner towards the Speaker, or E, commits any other act or intentional disrespect to or with reference to the proceedings of the Assembly or of a committee of the Assembly or to any person presiding at such proceedings. Order, honorable members, otherwise I will start all over again and read from page 1. Standing Order 2022A and B of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024 provides that, and I quote, 2. In addition to instances under Section 19 of the National Assembly Powers and Privileges Act, the following may constitute contempt of the House. A speech or writing reflecting negatively on the House or members. B, a reflection on the character or impartiality of the Speaker in the discharge of the Speaker's duties. End of quote. Further, eminent writers on parliamentary practice and procedure, S.L. Shakda and M.N. Kao, in their book entitled Practice and Procedure of Parliament, 7th edition, New Delhi, Lok Sabha 2016, states as follows at page 304 and 306, and I quote, It is a breach of privilege and contempt of the House to make speeches or to print or publish any libels reflecting on the character or proceedings of the House or its committees, or any member of the House for or relating to the character or conduct as a member of Parliament. Speeches and writings reflecting on the House or his committees or members are punished by the House as contempt on the principle that Such acts tend to obstruct the House in the performance of their functions by diminishing the respect due to them. Impartiality is therefore an integral attribute vis-à-vis the office of the Speaker. Hence, reflections on the character or impartiality of the Speaker in discharge of his duties as the Speaker of the House has been held to constitute a breach of privilege and contempt of the House. Additionally, I recently had the occasion to rule on a similar matter on a complaint by Dr. C. Andeleki, Member of Parliament for Katombola, against Mr. F.R. Kapyanga, Member of Parliament from Pika constituency. Parliamentary debates of the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly, Wednesday, 17th September 2025. In rendering my ruling, I stated that, and I quote, Mr. F.R. Kapyanga, MP, the statements you made in an article entitled Stand as MP to Debate Freely, Kapyanga tells Speaker Muti, published in the newspaper Diggers newspaper, issue number 2031, dated Friday, 4th July 2025, were disrespectful and impugned on the character and impartiality of my office in the discharge of my duties. The statements did not only bring the dignity of my office into disrepute, but that of the entire House as well. Therefore, the statements constitute a breach of parliamentary privilege and contempt of the House. The House is, in this regard, displeased with your conduct. It is my sincere hope that you will refrain from such conduct in future. End of quote. From the authorities cited above, it is clear that it is a breach of parliamentary privilege and contempt of the House for a member to make statements that are demeaning and reflect negatively on the character and impartiality of the Speaker. Honorable members, I referred the matter to the Committee on Privileges and Absences for consideration. The committee met on Thursday, 18th September 2025 to consider the matter. In this regard, 3 witnesses, namely Engineer Ara Mabenga, MP, Mr. Bimpundu, MP, as well as Mr. Jeremy Muntali, the editor-in-chief of the mass newspaper, appeared before the committee. The submissions of the witnesses are set out below. 1. Engineer Ara Mabenga, MP. Engineer Ara Mabenga, MP, confirmed that he was the author of the complaint against Mr. Bimpundu, MP, filed in the office of the Honorable Madam Speaker on Wednesday, 9th July 2025. He therefore placed reliance on his written complaint. 2. Mr. Jeremy Muntali, Editor-in-Chief, Must newspaper, on behalf Honorable Member for Kasanengwa, please, you know the rules. 2. Mr. Jeremy Muntali, Editor-in-Chief, Must newspaper. On behalf of the Mass newspaper, Mr. J. Muntali confirmed that the article published in the edition number 4655 SM 454, dated 5th July 2025, was correctly attributed to Mr. Bimpundu, MP. He added that the publication was sourced from an interview of Mr. Bimpundu, MP, when he featured on the DJ Showstar podcast on 3rd July 2025. Further, Mr. J. Muntali submitted that it is a well-established practice in professional journalism, both in Zambia and internationally, for media houses to monitor and report on statements made by public figures on platforms such as podcasts, live streams, television, and other public forums. This practice was in addition to solicited or unsolicited interviews conducted directly with public figures. Mr. J. Muntali informed the committee that the remarks made by Mr. Bimpundu MP when he appeared on the DJ Show Star podcast were reported in national interest. This was because, as a member of parliament, Mr. Bimpundu MP's statements regarding the functioning of the National Assembly were matters of public concern. Finally, Mr. J. Muntali submitted that the remarks attributed to Mr. Bimpundu MP in the article were a verbatim record of statements made during his interview on the DJ Show Star podcast. He stated that in publishing the story, the Must newspaper acted within the bounds of responsible journalism while upholding the public's right to information. 2. Mr. Bimpundu MP. Mr. Bimpundu MP submitted that he was not aware of the complaint against him, as he had not been served any letter requesting him to respond to the allegations in the complaint. He stated that if he had been served with the letter by the office of the clerk, he would have responded to the allegations in writing. However, Mr. Bimpundu MP confirmed that the statements published in the Mass newspaper article produced in edition number 4655 SM 454 dated Saturday 5th July 2025 were correctly attributed to him but reported out of context. He stated that on the DJ Show Star broadcast, he complained about how he was treated in the House following his suspension for 7 days for misconduct on the floor of the House. Finally, Mr. Bimpundu MP stated that he was sorry and withdrew the words used during the podcast when expressing his frustrations for being suspended from the National Assembly. Honorable members, upon evaluating the matter, the committee made the following observations. 1. Mr. Bimpundu MP accused the office of the clerk of not serving him with a letter requesting him to respond to the allegations contained in the letter of complaint by Engineer Aramavenga MP. In this regard, Mr. Mpundu MP claimed that the committee did not comply with the rules of natural justice. 2. The office of the clerk provided proof of service of the letter which was sent to Mr. Bimpundu MP's official parliament email address and his mobile phone number on WhatsApp. Mr. Bimpundu MP did not provide any rebuttal to the evidence. 3. Mr. Bimpundu MP submitted that although the statements published in the article were correctly attributed to him, they were reported out of context. However, the committee had the opportunity to listen to the audio recording of the DJ Show Star podcast, which confirmed that the words attributed to Mr. Bimpundu MP in the Mass newspaper article were a verbatim record of what he said during the podcast. 4. Although Mr. Bimpundu MP apologized for the statements made on DJ Show Star podcast, he was not remorseful. 5. The statements were disrespectful and impugned on the character and impartiality of my office in the discharge of my duties. Therefore, they constituted a breach of privilege and contempt of the House. And 6. The remarks by Mr. Bimpundu MP brought not only my office but the entire House into disrepute. In determining the appropriate punishment to be meted out to Mr. Bimpundu MP, the committee considered that Mr. Bimpundu MP 1. Did not readily admit the charge. 2. Did not express remorse. 3. Wasted the committee's time by accusing the office of the clerk of not serving him with a letter requesting him to respond to the allegations contained in the letter complaint by Engineer Aramavenga MP. And 4. Mr. Mpundu MP's accusations against the office of the clerk was later proved to be false. For this reason, the committee unanimously resolved to recommend that Mr. Bimpundu MP be suspended from the service of the House for a period of 30 days. in accordance with Section 28(2) of the National Assembly Powers and Privileges Act. Honorable members, let me take this opportunity to express my displeasure and dismay at Mr. Mpondo MP's behavior when he alleged that the office of the clerk did not serve him with a letter requesting him to respond to the complaint against him. In view of the foregoing, I am compelled to address Mr. Mpondo MP on this particular matter. Mr. Mpondo MP, you made a false assertion regarding a communication from the office of the clerk of the National Assembly. Specifically, you claimed that you were not served with a letter requesting you to respond to a complaint launched against you. However, the evidence on record indicates clearly that the letter was duly delivered to you in accordance with the established procedures. This conduct is not only misleading but also undermines the integrity of the office of the clerk and the processes of this august House. As a member of Parliament, you are expected to uphold the highest standard of honesty, accountability, and respect for parliamentary institutions. Making false statements, particularly in relation to official parliamentary processes, is a serious breach of privilege and decorum expected of a member of this House. I must therefore admonish you in the strongest terms. Let this serve as a clear reminder that such conduct will not be tolerated. You are urged to conduct yourself with the dignity and integrity befitting your office, and to treat communication from the office of the clerk and other parliamentary authorities with the seriousness they deserve. Honorable members, considering the seriousness of the offense committed by Mr. Mpondo MP, and in view of the various authorities and precedent I have placed reliance on, and his conduct when he appeared before the committee, I fully endorse the committee's recommendation that Mr. Mpondo MP be suspended from the service of the National Assembly for a period of 30 days. Thus, in accordance with Section 28(2) of the National Assembly Powers and Privileges Act, which requires a resolution of the House to suspend a member from the House, I now put the question. The question is that the House accordingly suspends Mr. Mpondo MP for a period of 30 days with effect from today, Tuesday, 4th November 2025. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary say no. No. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The House. Okay. A division is called. Ring the bells. Oh, which one? Is this one? Eh? Yes. So, okay.
Good afternoon, and thank you for still being with us on Parliament Television. A division has been called for. This followed voting on a ruling that has been made on Mr. Binwo Mpundu, and once a division is called for, it means the House has to vote. So a vote will be cast by the members of Parliament to determine the division that has been called for on a ruling that has been made on Mr. Binwo Mpundu.
Yes, indeed, we still have urgent matters without notice, if there will be any, as well as ministerial statement. We do expect the Minister of Agriculture to render a ministerial statement on delayed payments to farmers who supplied maize to the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, and on the measures being taken by the government to ensure safe storage of all the maize grain collected from farmers by the Food Reserve Agencies. Of presentation of government bills,
Indeed, Joe, and we do expect the House to consider 8 government bills. 7 will be presented by the Minister of Finance and National Planning, and 1 government bill will be presented by the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry. We also expect the House to consider questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80.
Yes, indeed, and we also do expect the House to consider a motion national planning. Under this motion, the Minister will be urging the House to resolve into a committee of supply on the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 1st January 2026 to 31st December 2026, presented to the National Assembly in September 2025.
And so bells are still ringing, just to call upon all members of Parliament to be in the House, and they have to cast a vote. This is over a ruling that has been made over Mr. Binwo Mpundu.
So we do encourage you to stay tuned to Parliament TV. You can follow us on DSTV channel 272, GoTV channel 28, Topstar channel 5, and you can also access the order paper on our website, which is www.parliament.gov.za. And of course, bells are still ringing. Many members of Parliament are expected to vote electronically.
Close the door, close the bar, clear the lobbies, and lock the doors. The question, honorable members, is that the House accordingly suspends Mr. Mpundu MP for a period of 30 days with effect from today, Tuesday, 4th November 2025. The House will vote electronically using the Bosch multimedia units. Please log into the system. Have we all successfully logged in? When you hear the paging sound, the vote has opened and the voting screen is displayed on your microphone unit. Select the present key. Have we done so? On top of the right side of the screen, you will see the words, please cast your vote. Select one of the options, yes, no, or abstain. Once you have selected one of the options, you will see the words, vote has been cast, on your right-hand side of the screen. When you hear the second paging sound, the vote will close after 1 minute. You have just voted. The results as follows. Abstain 3, no 25, yes 67. So the ayes have it and the House resolves accordingly. So following the resolution of the House, honorable members, can we pay attention? Order, honorable members, can we conclude this process? The House having resolved accordingly, now I turn to Mr. Bimpundu in absentia. I address him accordingly. The statements you made in the article entitled Benue slums current Parliament as useless, published in the mass newspaper edition number 4655 SM 454, dated 5th July 2025, are utterly unacceptable. Your remarks are not only profoundly disrespectful, but also maliciously impugn on the integrity, impartiality, and dignity of my office in the execution of its constitutional duties. Such statements do a grave disservice to not only damaging the reputation of my office, but also casting a shadow over the entire National Assembly. Your conduct amounts to a serious breach of parliamentary privilege and constitutes contempt of this House. The House registers its unequivocal and profound displeasure with your reprehensible behavior. I solemnly warn you to desist from engaging in such conduct in the future. It is imperative that you understand, as much as all members, that the right to freedom of speech is neither absolute nor unconditional. It does not shield unlawful utterances made outside the House, nor does it protect liberious statements disseminated through the media. I call upon you to uphold the dignity and decorum befitting a member of this honorable House and when exercising your right to free speech. Let me also make this crystal clear. Gross indiscipline and misconduct by any member will be met with the fullest measure of accountability. The House will not tolerate any behavior that undermines its authority or tarnishes its honor. As I conclude, I wish to inform you, in accordance with Section 28(3) of the National Assembly Powers and Privileges Act, during the period of your suspension, you shall not, 1, enter the premises of the Assembly, and this extends to the National Assembly Motel, participate in any business or activity of the House or a committee that you are assigned to in your capacity as member of the National Assembly. And 3, be paid a salary or allowance that you are entitled to as a member. I wish to state that I have taken into consideration the area resolution of the House to suspend you from the service of the Assembly for 14 days, and in the ruling I rendered before this one, and wish to inform you that the 2 suspensions will run concurrently. I thank you. We go back to our business. Urgent matters without notice. Honorable Member for Lunte.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much for according me this opportunity to raise an urgent matter without notice directed at our honor, the Vice President. Madam Speaker, the President of the Republic of Zambia is a chief servant of the Zambian people. Therefore, the Zambian people should be happy with his engagements. Madam, yesterday the President attended the inauguration of the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. His attendance of this inauguration has attracted widespread condemnation from many Zambians. Madam Speaker, this condemnation is evident on social media as well as print media. Madam, is it not reasonable for UPND, in operation of our honor the Vice President's office of Leader of Government Business in the House, to consider establishing reasons as to why the President decided to attend this widely condemned inauguration, and to offer support to the newly elected President of Tanzania, when there are so many reports of people that have died in that country. What is the balance of their imagination in terms of the new president coming back to office and also the deaths that have been reported on international media? Is it not reasonable that our honor would consider explaining to the Zambian people to settle the minds of all those who are not happy? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
All the honorable members. All the honorable members. Honorable Member for Lunte, clearly you know that that matter does not qualify to be raised as an urgent matter without notice. Further, order, anything stated on the floor of this House should be factual and verifiable. The honorable Member for Lunte has not produced any evidence before this honorable House talking about the state of the nation of Tanzania, how many people died, whether they actually died or they did not die. We have no official statement from Tanzania to state what happened. As I always guide in this House, we should not rely on social media. Even press media sometimes, the stories that they give, they are not verifiable. Sometimes, most of the time, they are sensational to sell the newspaper. So if we are going to come to this House and base our submissions or our debates on what we have read in the paper, I think that is not acceptable for an honorable member of the House to come here and raise such issues which are not based or backed by evidence. Let me give an analogy, honorable member for Lunte. This is just an analogy, and as a parent, I'm sure you understand. You live in a village. Your neighbor's house is on fire. Your children have gone to visit the neighbor. What are you going to do when there's a fire? Are you going to put more petrol on the fire, or you go there to quench the fire? I'll leave that to answer to yourself. In your own conscience, you'll be able to answer that question. But the point, the matter that you have raised is not admitted. The honorable member for Nakonde.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Madam Speaker, On a lighter note, since I came in 2021, I've never seen or witnessed any member from your right to be suspended. That is just on a lighter note.
Order, 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 order. Honorable member for order, order. Honorable member for Nakonde, you are treading on dangerous waters. Because by just that statement, you are already impugning on the impartiality of presiding officers. Let's be serious. As I always say, honorable members, the young people, the old people, the members of the public, the people that we represent are watching us and following what we are doing. Whatever we say, they take it as gospel truth. So let's take responsibility, and when we stand to debate any issue, let us be factual. And the honorable member for Nakonde, I'm sure you know the reason why none of the members have been suspended from my right.
I don't know.
When they are told, please stop, they do that. Honorable member for Nakonde may proceed after that.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. The matter I wish to raise, Madam Speaker, is directed at the Minister of Justice. Since the Minister of Justice is not around, Madam Speaker, I will direct it to our honor, the Vice President. Madam Speaker, upholding and respecting the Constitution is a shared responsibility amongst all the citizens. Madam Speaker, we have sworn to uphold, defend, and respect the Constitution. Madam Speaker, the Concord ruled that Bill 7 is unconstitutional. And Madam Speaker, why the Minister of Justice hasn't withdrawn completely this bill, which is unconstitutional, which is dead, and this bill, Madam Speaker, is on the floor of this House. Why hasn't the Minister of Justice withdrawn this dead bill according to the Constitution Court? Because this is an unconstitutional bill. And Madam Speaker, you know that anything unconstitutional we shouldn't allow as members of Parliament, because we have sworn to defend and protect the Constitution. Why is it that this bill is still on the floor of this House? Even when this is, Madam Speaker, the ruling that I have with me, the judgment is that this Bill 7 is unconstitutional. What is it that is doing the Madam, who is the Minister of Justice, without withdrawing this bill completely? Madam Speaker, I seriously seek your guidance. I thank you.
Oh, the honorable member, before you even do that, wait. Just to help you, can you read the quote from that same ruling which says Bill 7 is unconstitutional, or indeed refers even to Bill 7?
Madam Speaker, allow me to read the whole judgment.
Order, order, order.
So that I can start.
Honorable member for Nakonde, you've raised an issue. You said that the ruling clearly says Bill 7 is unconstitutional.
Yes.
Please, can you read the sentence from that ruling that says Bill 7 is unconstitutional?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'll start on page 1 because it has got 44 pages.
Honorable member for Nakonde, do you know that that amounts to breach of your privilege?
How? How? This is the ruling.
Because you are not being factual. You are misleading the House.
How?
First of all, You are misleading the House, you are misleading the members of the public, and even yourself.
No.
And further, that matter is before court. So how can you bring a matter in court? As a member of parliament yourself, order. As a member of the House, Honorable Member for Nakonde, you know clearly that a matter that is in court cannot be brought before this House. So on that ground, on your urgent matter without notice is not admitted. If you want to go and inquire on the constitutionality or non-constitutionality of Bill 7, please, you have a right to go to the courts of law to inquire in that. And in future, honorable members, do not make allegations that are not substantiated, especially when you are referring to a judgment of the court. Don't insert words in a judgment. Courts are very clear. When they give judgments, they give specific orders. They make specific findings. So don't usurp the work of the court by inserting words which are not in the judgment. That is my guidance. The next one, Honorable Member for Kamfinsa.
Madam Speaker, I wish to direct an urgent matter without notice to the Minister of Energy. And Madam Speaker, I am on record asking government to recapitalize a company in Ndola called Indeni Refinery. And based on my requests through questions that I had raised, Madam Speaker, I was guided that there are no plans by government to recapitalize Indeni so that it can continue processing crude oil. Madam Speaker, what has happened since then is that there is an announcement from government that they intend to set up a new refinery with a foreign entity whose details, Madam Speaker, up to now we have not been furnished as a nation. Madam Speaker, you are aware that there is only one pipe which is supposed to bring in crude oil from Dar es Salaam into Ndola to refine crude oil. That pipe was converted, and currently, Madam Speaker, it is processing a finished product. So, Madam Speaker, I'm directing this matter to the Minister of Energy. A decision as big as setting up a new refinery without providing the nation, Madam Speaker, with the details, the terms of that agreement, which investor is going to set up the refinery, what will happen to the existing infrastructure that is currently bringing in the final product. Those details, Madam Speaker, have not been made available to the nation. Is the Minister of Energy, Madam Speaker, in order not to come and furnish this House with the terms and conditions of the agreement to set up a new refinery, when government is on record that government will only bring in the finished product? Is the Minister in order, Madam Speaker, not to enlighten the members of the public as well as your members of Parliament? Madam Speaker, I seek your serious indulgence. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Clearly, the matter does not qualify to be raised an urgent matter without notice. The Honorable Member is advised to find other means to bring those concerns to the attention of the Honorable Minister of Energy. Then they can be addressed in this House. Thank you. Let's make progress. We have a lot of work. I have permitted the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, to present a ministerial statement. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to thank you for this opportunity to provide an update to this House and indeed to the nation on the status of payments to farmers who supplied maize to the Food Reserve Agency during the 2025 crop marketing season. As guided by you, Madam Speaker,
I want to inform the House about the underlying causes of payment delays and the concrete steps government is taking to resolve the matter. Further, I will inform the House on the issue of storage of maize grain collected from farmers by the Food Reserve Agency. Madam Speaker, the Food Reserve Agency commenced the 2025 crop marketing season on the 30th of June 2025. The program has recorded an overwhelming response from the small-scale farmers across the country. In the current marketing season, Madam Speaker, the FRA had projected to purchase 543,000 metric tons of maize at 6,800 kwacha per metric ton, or 340 kwacha per 50 kg bag. The total cost for this purchase of the 543,000 metric tons was estimated at 3,692,400, so 3.7 billion in short. Those who would like to get the actual figure is 3,692,400,000. Madam Speaker, due to the bumper harvest experienced in the 2024-2025 season and the limited participation of the private sector in maize marketing, government decided to increase its share of maize purchases. I'll repeat this, Madam Speaker. Due to the bumper harvest experienced in the 2024-2025 season and the limited participation of the private sector in maize marketing, government decided to increase its share of maize purchases. As of 31st October 2025, FRA had purchased, Madam Speaker, 1,663,934 metric tons of white maize, valued at 11,314,750,520. I'll slowly repeat those figures. As of 30th October 2025, Madam Speaker, FRA had purchased 1,663,934 metric tons of white maize, valued at 11,314,750,520. This maize was supplied by a total of 846,655 farmers from across the country. Madam Speaker, this maize was supplied by 846,655,000 farmers, so 846,655 farmers across the country. This implies, Madam Speaker, a 306% increase over and above the initial intended target. The extra cost and therefore the additional cash requirement was 7,622,350,520. So the extra cost was 7,622,350,520. Madam Speaker, government attaches great importance to the timely payment of our hard-working farmers and is doing its level best to ensure that the debt owed to farmers is paid within reasonable time. We will not relent in finding solutions to ensure that our farmers are paid their dues in good time to allow them to prepare for the next farming season. I wish to report, Madam Speaker, that government has this far disbursed, paid to the farmers, 2,088,550,000 kwacha, 2,088,550,000 towards farmers' payments towards farmers' payments. The remaining balance, Madam Speaker, is being addressed through structured financial interventions to ensure that all farmers are paid as quickly as possible. To accelerate the payments, Madam Speaker, government through the FRA has successfully concluded engagements with commercial banks for a structured loan facility amounting to 5 billion Zambia kwacha. This facility will bridge the financing gap and enable the FRA to clear much of the remaining dues to farmers. Further, Madam Speaker, the agency has initiated maize sales to enhance its liquidity. These efforts will enable government to resolve the outstanding payments to farmers. These efforts, Madam Speaker, will enable government to resolve the outstanding payments to farmers. Madam Speaker, allow me to assure the nation that there is sufficient storage space for all maize collected by the Food Reserve Agency. The FRA has a total of 1,105,510 metric tons of its own storage space. The FRA has a total of 1,105,510 metric tons of its own storage space. Now, the agency has 1,663,934 metric tons from the 2025 marketing season and an extra 167,356 metric tons carryover stock. This brings the total maize stock in the hands of the agency, Madam Speaker, to 1,831,290. 1,831,290 metric tons. So as we are speaking now, your agency has 1.8 million metric tons of maize. The 727,027 metric ton storage space, which is required above the FRA storage space, has, Madam Speaker, already been arranged through the private sector. Madam Speaker, government remains committed to ensuring that all the maize purchased by the Food Reserve Agency is properly stored, particularly that the rains have now commenced in our country. Allow me to also take this opportunity to thank all our farmers for their continued patience and contributions to the national food security. Government remains steadfast in ensuring that the agriculture sector continues to thrive as a pillar of Zambia's economic transformation and rural development agenda. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for that statement. Honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement presented by the Honorable Minister of Agriculture. We start with the... Okay, thank you. The Honorable Member for Wacha.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity that you have granted to the people of Wacha. Minister of Agriculture, thank you very much for the statement. Madam Speaker, every weekend I'm in the constituents from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And this statement, Minister of Agriculture, is timely. And many of the people, the farmers in Wacha parliamentary constituents that sold maize to FRA have not been paid. Through you, Madam Speaker, the minister has not stated. Could the minister indicate how many farmers are still awaiting payment for the maize supplied to FRA and what the total outstanding amount is and when they will be paid? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I might not be able to give the exact number of farmers, but I can give the balance that is to be paid. And I think that is what is most cardinal. Madam Speaker, if you recall, I said that the total quantity that has been supplied in terms of value is 11.3 billion kwacha. 11.3 billion kwacha. And what amount the agency has paid is 2.1 billion. So 11.3 minus 2.1, I think gives us 9.2. So that's the amount which is not yet paid. I am extremely happy, Madam Speaker, to inform the Honorable Member for Wacha that before I came today to this August House, we have made arrangements that as at today, 2 billion kwacha is being released by Zambia National Commercial Bank. And this is information you are free to verify because I'm giving it to the nation. 2 billion is being dispersed today, and that should be reaching the farmers very, very soon. This will continue. In my statement, I did indicate that we have made necessary arrangements with the banks up to 5 billion Zambia kwacha. The rest we hope to get as we sell the maize and pay. If that delays, we will continue making arrangements with the banks until all the farmers are paid on time. So when I've said that 2 billion has just been released by one bank, another bank is giving us about 1 billion, another about 100 million, and put together, we should, yes, Madam Speaker, I can talk confidently about the bank I've been speaking to, and that is the 2 billion. I know that there's 100 million that another bank is releasing, and 1 billion that another bank is releasing. So if you say when, we'll start this week decomposing further. And Madam Speaker, the agency has never stopped paying farmers. It has never stopped paying farmers. The agency has continued paying farmers, but yes, not sufficient funds. But it has never stopped. I think it is important that the country knows this. I wish not to rile farmers, to make farmers angry. I accept that we have delayed, but we have made very good arrangements now to continue paying. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Mpika.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to ask the Honorable Minister of Agriculture a question on behalf of the people I represent, who are farmers, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, 4 years now, the Honorable Minister has been struggling to pay farmers whenever FRA gets maize from our small-scale farmers. Madam Speaker, a lot of these farmers are not unfeasible. Therefore, they have to plan in advance for the next farming season. Now, when they sell, when FRA gets maize from farmers on credit, like it has done now, that puts pressure on the farmers because they are not going to find any money to use for preparation of the next farming season. Honorable Minister, my question to you therefore is, I mean, where is your planning department? Because you needed to have planned in advance, sourced the money from the banks before FRA could even start buying maize. You've cited that you needed to buy in excess of what you had planned. I mean, where did you think the rest of the farmers would take their crops to? You needed to have provided the market. It's your responsibility, Honorable Minister. Why have you always failed to adequately plan for the marketing season? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, the question that has been asked by the Honorable Member is extremely fundamental, because it does not only affect the current government or the minister who is standing here today, it affects the previous governments, and if we are not careful, even into the future. Why do I say that? First of all, to give you empirical evidence, when I took over as minister, Madam Speaker, I found that the previous government had 2.1 billion owing to farmers. So for us to talk like this is a new phenomenon is not right. I sold that maize and I was condemned in order to pay the farmers. Now, what we should do when we are here is to use our combined intelligence to solve problems. Pointing fingers at each other will not help. Madam Speaker, if you heard me, I said the increased production and the minimal participation of the private sector is creating this problem. We should not underrate that. Let's go into the future. Now, Madam Speaker, Honorable Kampianga asked a question, and then he's giving me his ear, his cheek. I want you to look at me so we can converse. Please. Well, let me discuss serious issues, Honorable Saka. Joke with me outside at tea when we're eating bananas. Madam Speaker, I have been in this industry for a long time. Where did the big companies that were assisting in crop procurement go? Where is the Glencores of this world? Where is Louis Dreyfus of this world? How much did we as local entrepreneurs, ETG, etc., put in? How much did we, sitting in this house, a capable person like my brother there, Honorable Anthony, where are we to participate in this thing? 5 years from now, Madam Speaker, 5 years from now, this country is going to produce 10 million metric tons. The Food Reserve Agency is still going to buy about 3 million tons. What is going to happen with that 7 million tons? It needs private sector participation. If we expect the government to be buying this maize, we will be delaying like we are doing. If we force the government to be buying this maize, the agency will go down the way NAMBOD went down. This is the reason. This is how NAMBOD went down. So, it is important that we as citizens of Zambia encourage the private sector through good policies. Through good policies. Allow exports, buy and allow free trade, so that the country can attract the major, sources of income, and that is through the private sector. I said it here. We were only supposed to buy 543, and that is stock for the Food Reserve Agency. How can you sit in here, Madam Speaker, through you? A honorable member is asking, why are you not buying all the maize? Then our thinking is not in the right direction to develop agriculture in the country. Who buys the soybeans? Who buys the sunflower? Who buys the wheat? We need to encourage private sector. Like Honorable Kapianga of Umpika to buy and sell the maize to Tanzania. It's very near Tanzanian border. We need colleagues to sell into Malawi, to sell into the Congo. Why are you allowing the government to go into contracts to sell maize to Malawi? Where are you? Why are you allowing the government to go into contracts with the Congo? Where are you? Let us participate and get this thing into private hands. The government's role is to keep strategic reserve so that it can supply the maize if there is a short. So the answer, Madam Speaker, and that's why I liked that question, the answer is in allowing private participation and allowing exports. Not what our friends did. Not what our friends did, to cut exports, and therefore people went away. The companies I mentioned are no longer here. Where is Louis Dreyfus? Where is Glencore? Where are all those big companies? That is the answer. It might not be very palatable, but that's the answer. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member from Kaika.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving me this chance to ask the Minister of Agriculture. Minister, actually, this morning, some people in my constituents were calling me to find out. So I told them, just hold on. Yes. Let's communicate in the evening so that I give you a good answer from the minister. But from what you have stated, Minister, it doesn't give hope from the people. These are the people, Honorable Minister. They have sought everything. They are waiting to get the money so that they could do other things, to buy fertilizer, to buy seeds, so that they can prepare for the farming season. But from your statement, Minister, it doesn't even state the time frame when they can be paid their money. Exports were done, we hear. This time you are mentioning of commercial banks to lend the money to government. And if they don't do that, what next to our farmers? Minister, please, we need a concrete answer to our farmers. Because farmers out there, they are expectant. They want to hear when they'll be paid. There was some minister issue. So farmers were expectant to receive their monies by 31st October. And this is November, Minister. What answers are you giving them? Farmers in Katete, they want their maize.
Honorable Member from Kaika, you can hear the mamas. But there are so many members who want to ask questions. So be precise to the point. If you start debating, we will not go very far. Ask your question, and please careful with my microphones.
What is the time frame?
Not harmed anyone.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Thank you. Minister, what is the time frame that you are giving to the farmers out there, countrywide? Thank you so much.
Oh, that's better. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, I just indicated that 2 billion has been released today. We will, Bozian. Madam Speaker, I will react to that man. Bozi, keep quiet. What is the time frame? I'm telling you that the money has been released today, and farmers should be getting a good part of the money. 2 billion Zambia kwacha should be going into the pockets of the farmers this week. And not only that, I also indicated, and you were murmuring when I said it, that there's another bank that is releasing 1 billion. Another bank is giving us 100 million. So the commencement of significant pay has begun, because we didn't have the 5 billion facility, but the 5 billion facility has been put in place with the support of other government institutions to whom I am extremely indebted. like my sister here, Honorable Tamba Tamba, the Minister of Finance there, we have put together resources in order to pay the farmers. So it is starting tomorrow, after tomorrow, when the banks release the money, we are going to continue paying, and paying significantly. All of us want to pay the farmers. If there's one who is very sad about these late payments, you can imagine it's myself, because I have to answer phones every day. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kansanshi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'll just build on to what Honorable Kapianga asked the Minister. Honorable Minister, you always prepare for the farming season. You start by giving us a possible rain outlook, preparation for fishing farmers, right up to the crop output outlook. So why is it so difficult for your ministry to prepare, whether you want to borrow money from banks, whether money is coming from Ministry of Finance, instead of you lamenting what you are telling us now? What is so difficult? 4 million metric tons, our target is 10 million. We don't know how to pay farmers. What is your planning department doing?
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, we as government, our job is to buy through FRA for strategic reserve. We planned to buy 543,000 metric tons, and we have paid the farmers for that. What we are struggling to pay is over and above that. Because if we didn't receive the maize, this maize was going to be in the hands of the farmers because of our low participation. I'm pleading with you, Honorable. The way you are involved in mining, get involved in buying and sell to the Congo. Make yourself some money. The price difference is huge. It's huge. I have sold maize to Malawi at $385. Turn that into Zambia kwacha. It is way above the 340. Why don't you do those things? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
The Honorable, there is a point of order. We stop the clock. What's the point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my point of order is Standing Order number 71. The minister there, he stated very, very clearly that everyone can go and buy and export, could be given a permit. Madam Speaker, it's not true. Because myself, I went to ministry there, Ministry of Agriculture, that I can be given a permit. I was given some names, organizations, which you have to work with in order for you to be allowed to be given the permit. And that is what is on the ground. I was with the permanent secretary there. Is it in order to insinuate that everyone can just go and start get a permit and start exporting? Is it in order? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Chivili. The only problem now, you brought yourself in the subject of your point of order. But what I heard the minister saying was to encourage members to go and apply. And when you are applying for any permit, export or whatever permit, there are conditionalities that you have to meet. So maybe it's better to go there and try to meet some conditionalities. Then you can be given that permit. So the point of order is not allowed. So it's not sustained. It's not sustained. May the Honorable, who was on the floor, the Honorable Member for, now I don't even know where. The Honorable Member for Ron was next?
Yes.
The Honorable Member for Ron.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Minister, I want to appreciate your responses. I realize, Madam Speaker, that my fellow honorables have concentrated their questions on the payments to the farmers. But when I raised the part of the question, the urgent matter without notice, my concern, Honorable Minister, was the maize that is lying out there and mobbed. I am excited, Honorable Minister, that you have indicated that FRA had actually envisaged to buy 543 metric tons, 543,000 metric tons, and you have gone further to buy 1.6, close to 1.7 million metric tons, which is a great move. But this has outstripped your storage capacity of 1.1 million metric tons. Madam Speaker, I'm just coming from the constituency, and I was in the field yesterday, and the maize is still lying out there. This is coupled with a lot of negativities that are facing FRA in terms of mopping out this maize out there. One of them, Honorable Minister, if you may wish to know, is lack of payment to the loaders who are loading this maize onto the trucks. Madam Speaker, my question is, Honorable Minister, 1.6 million metric tons are in the safe hands of FRA, 1.1 in the storages. Are you able, Honorable Minister, to tell the nation and the House as to how many of the 1.6 million metric tons that you have mopped out there, which are in the safe sheds, and also maybe if you can indicate those that hasn't been mopped so that you can concentrate your efforts to ensure that all that maize is collected. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I'd like to thank the Honorable Member for Ron for being a patriot and showing concern that maize should not go to waste. Madam Speaker, we as Food Reserve Agency have indeed 1.1 million metric tons storage facility. In order to make sure that grain does not go to waste, the agency has hired 727,000 extra metric tons of space from the private sector. Now, all the maize that is out there, and I would like the honorable members to be open with me if what I will say is wrong so that I can learn and remedy that. All the maize that is out there, Madam Speaker, is under tarpaulin protection. We have tarpaulins across the country, everywhere, to cover this maize. If there is a single area in any constituency where the maize seems not to be covered by tarpaulin, may I be informed, because the agency has sufficient tarpaulins to take everywhere. Tarpaulin cover is good cover for maize, but of course we prefer to take it into closed sheds. So this is an appeal. Madam Speaker, I have tried within my limitations to visit and see all the maize where I have been is covered under tarpaulin. I thank you.
There is a point of order. Honorable Member from Pika, what's the point of order?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and my point of order is premised on Standing Order number 71. The Honorable Minister in his statement stated that government decided to buy the remainder of the maize because farmers had nowhere to take the maize. And in my question, Madam Speaker, I asked why his ministry could not provide market linkages for farmers to have where to sell the maize, instead of farmers just depending on FRA. In his response to my question, he started talking about insinuating that I meant that FRA should always be the one to buy the maize. When in fact, Madam Speaker, my question was about the minister and his ministry to provide market linkages for our farmers to have an alternative buyer of their maize. Is in order, therefore, Madam Speaker, not to have answered my question on the market linkage part, to give the farmers in Mpika an opportunity to listen what his ministry is doing to ensure that next year, next market season, they do not depend on FRA, which gets maize on credit every year, every marketing season. They get maize on credit, they go and sell maize of the farmers. That's when now they start paying them in bits. That is what we want to avoid, the Honorable Minister. We want farmers to have an alternative market provided for by the government in a structured manner. Madam Speaker, I seek your serious ruling. Thank you.
Now, that point of order is in a way trying to raise another question and also challenge the Honorable Minister in terms of the answers that he has given. I do not have the answer myself. Maybe the Honorable Minister can answer that question. Honorable Minister, is the government in a position to provide or to provide market linkages for farmers? Are you in that position?
Madam Speaker, the Honourable Member used the term structured. When it is a structured request, the answer is yes. What do I mean? The Grain Traders Association of Zambia, Millers Association of Zambia, Zambia National Farmers Union, and there was a fourth one. I sat with them, Madam Speaker, and opened up. Dear colleagues, here is market for you at this price. That is facilitating market leakages. It is difficult for the ministry to deal with the many farmers, but if there is a structured entity, if the Honourable Member from PICA can garner up and create an entity from PICA, we will be very happy to deal with it. We have at the ministry a department called Agribusiness Marketing Department, and it can support you in that sector. So the answer, Madam Speaker, is once it's structured, yes, not 5 tons, 6 tons. We should be talking of significant tonnages because of the numbers that could be involved. I thank you.
Thank you. With that answer, we make progress. The Honourable Member for Lunte.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Honourable Minister, thank you for your discourse. Honourable Minister, the Zambian farmers have really struggled in this marketing season. Farmers were staying 2 to 3 months at the depot trying to sell maize. After the maize has been sold, it is now taking a long time for government to pay them. This is really excruciating on the part of the farmers. But we are already sitting with this problem, and we need to solve this problem. That is where our focus must be. However, to do this, we may be tempted to look at our planning. Sir, 2025, the year we are in your budget, there was 2 billion kwacha, which you planned to pay for the maize. You have told us you paid 3 billion kwacha. That is way above your plan. In the budget that we are considering now, for next year, you are planning for 2.1 billion kwacha. And yet, you are telling us you owe 9 billion in this season. And you are going to owe more next season. What are you telling the farmers? Are you saying that this money will continue accumulating, that farmers will not be paid, and your arrears are going to expand? Because as I say it, Madam Speaker, I think the message that is being sent to the farmers out there is that just stop farming. Government will not be able to pay, and that is the true definition of paya farmer. It should not be the case. Madam Speaker, may we get a response from the Minister?
Thank you. The Honourable Minister for Agriculture.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honourable Member for Lunte. Madam Speaker, I will try to be very calm, very slow in responding so that we correct the impression. The current government, Madam Speaker, is so caring that to call it that we are killing the farmer is absolutely wrong and misdirected. Totally misdirected, misplaced, and not correct. We in this August House, Madam Speaker, should be encouraging farmers to produce. And when we have a problem like the way we have the problem now, we should sit together, ask questions. How are you going to pay the farmers? And you will notice that I will be saying, we have made arrangements. 5 billion funds which were not available to pay the farmers. What are you going to do with the 4 billion balance? We are selling this maize so that we can pay the farmers, which is actually market access. Let us not come in here and be emotional and say farmers should not produce, because indeed they will listen. They will say the members of parliament are encouraging us not to sell because that minister is not able to buy the maize, to pay for the maize. Madam Speaker, this is a very, very caring government. When I bought the 543,000 metric tons, I reported to Cabinet that I have reached my ceiling. Beyond this, I will have no money. Cabinet ordered me, and I'm happy that they did. And this was the reasoning. We told farmers to grow maize. We will not allow the farmers to suffer with that maize. We will find the money. You, Minister of Agriculture, receive whatever grain that the farmers bring. And Madam Speaker, we opened up depots as close to the farmers as possible to receive the maize. Which government can be more caring than that? I want to repeat, let us not talk in isolation in a crucible. When I became minister, the previous questioner, person who asked a question, was a minister. Can he explain why I found 2.1 billion owing to farmers? If we take that route, we will be pointing fingers at each other. I don't want to go that route. I come to listen. I come for knowledge so that we can solve this problem in Zambia. We want to produce 10 million tons. We want to produce 10 million tons. We only consume 3. Is this the way we will handle the 7 million tons? No. What should we do? Let us have direct financing from private sector to come and buy that. That is what I'm saying this afternoon. That's what I'm bringing. But for the current stock, Madam Speaker, the government is going to pay each and every farmer. We have organized 5 billion from the banks, and we are going to receive 4 billion from sales, and we will pay all the farmers. I want to assure the farmers, being productive is good in Zambia. Let's produce and get paid. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. The Honorable Member for Lunte, you have a point of order.
Yes, Madam. Madam Speaker, and that is exactly the point. Standing Order number 71. Madam Speaker, we know that when government receives revenue by way of the government operations or disposals or sales, the money goes to Control 99. The money can't go to anyone's pocket, but to Control 99. Control 99, Madam, is a sovereign ledger. My point in my question earlier was, this money is talking about it's not in any budget. It is not in 2025. It is not even in 2026. How can the minister start accusing me when he has not provided any government ledger where this money is going? Is he in order, Madam Speaker, to start talking about money, government money, which is not sitting on any budget in this country? I seek your serious ruling, Madam Speaker.
These points of orders are now turning into debates. Unfortunately, even me, I don't have an answer. Honorable Minister of Agriculture. Honorable Minister of Agriculture, the money that you are talking about, the money, the 2 billion, the 1 million from the banks, which is not provided for in the budget according to the Honorable Member for Lunte, where is it going to come from? Maybe you can just explain.
Madam Speaker, a larger component is where the Food Reserve Agency is borrowing from the banks. The balance, Madam Speaker, by policy, will be generated from sale of the maize. These two components will support what I have been discussing this afternoon. I thank you.
I hope Honorable Member for Lunte is clear now. The money from the banks is being borrowed directly by food reserve and not by the government. So that's why it's not in the budget. Let's make progress. The Honorable Member for Lundazi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me a chance to make a follow-up question. The Minister of Agriculture. Honorable Minister, just last year, you are being named Awene Bansala. Now, there is pride that you have a lot of maize, which we are happy about. I wouldn't have loved that name to continue. However, Honorable Minister, I want to read just a small message which has come from your people, which is my question. They are saying that, in Tumbuka they are saying, our dada watibira waka katundu yitu watilipirenge yai. Meaning, he has obtained goods by false pretense. He's not going to pay. Madam Speaker, the question that I have for you, the people in Lundazi, Chipangali, Chipata, have not only suffered from the issue of failing to get money from the maize which they have sowed. You are aware that our farmers have got tobacco which they haven't even sowed. It is very sad situation coming from Eastern Province, and our farmers are so desperate. The question that I have for you, Honorable Minister, is this piecemeal of funds that you are releasing, it is being politicized when it comes to payment. What guidance are you giving to FRA? Because there are some officials who have also sold to FRA, and if money is deposited, they would prefer to pay their receipts first before looking at that farmer who is suffering in the village. Honorable Minister, I'm being very honest, and I'm saying this, and God is watching me. The truth of the matter is, if you do not give any guidance over the monies that you are releasing, you are going to end up being condemned, and people will be thinking that you have obtained goods by false pretense. What guidance are you giving over the little monies that you are releasing to the poor farmer out there, especially in Lundazi? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I'm grateful that the Honorable Member for Lundazi has brought these issues. Madam Speaker, she touched on tobacco, so I'm compelled to respond. The issue of the tobacco, if the Honorable Member can check in our constituency, we have sent other parties to buy that tobacco. So we shouldn't have that problem. I'm aware that they started in Lundazi. So I am a bit disturbed that when the Honorable Member says they haven't been paid yet. Madam Speaker, we made good of that. We pushed the private sector to go and buy that tobacco which was not being purchased. Secondly, Madam Speaker, I take note of what she has said. I don't think she was asking me to answer, but she was guiding me to say, can you make sure that we do not have prioritized clients, but everyone should be treated as equal. Therefore, I take note. There is no response to that. I just thank her for the guidance that she has given. I thank you.
Unfortunately, we are running out of time. So many questions. I know this has been a very interesting. Honorable members have been wanting to ask questions. But maybe, I think the appeal from all the members of Parliament is that please let's have these farmers paid on time so that they can go back to their fields and start growing. So unfortunately, honorable members, we have to make progress. We're well behind our time in terms of our work schedule, so I cannot extend the time. So we make progress. Presentation of government bills. The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Madam Speaker, I beg to present a bill entitled the Income Tax Amendment Act number 2, Bill number 19 of 2025. The objects of this bill are to A, introduce income tax concessions for public-private partnership projects in the railway sector. B, remove carry-forward time limitation of disallowed interest. C, increase the amount allowed as a deduction for a business that employs a person with disability to 2,500 kwacha per annum from 2,000 kwacha per annum. D, extend the requirement to keep books of account in US dollars to a person carrying out mineral processing. E, allow a business that qualifies for voluntary registration under the Value Added Tax Act, CAP 331, to register for turnover tax. F, increase the turnover tax threshold for artisanal and small-scale mining from 800,000 kwacha to 5 million kwacha to align with the standard turnover tax threshold. G, align the legal framework with international standards governing disclosure of information received under an international agreement in respect of exchange of information. H, reduce the penalty for an overdue payment of turnover tax from 5% per month or part of the month to 0.5% per month or part of the month. I, introduce an anti-fragmentation rule that treats related business activities carried out by an enterprise at one or more fixed locations in the Republic as a single permanent establishment where the combined business activities are not of a preparatory or auxiliary nature. J, extend the charging of advance income tax on foreign remittances above 2,000 US dollars to financial institutions and other platforms. K, remove penalties chargeable on a taxpayer that has made a voluntary disclosure to the authority. L, increase the turnover tax and rental income tax exempt threshold to 35,000 kwacha per annum from 12,000 kwacha per annum. And M, provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Let the bill be read the first time.
The Income Tax Amendment Bill number 2, Bill, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2025.
The bill stands referred to the Planning and Budgeting Committee. The committee is required to submit its report on the bill to the House by Tuesday, 25th November 2025. Honorable members who wish to make submissions on the bill are free to do so within the program of work of the committee. Next bill. The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Madam Speaker, I beg to present a bill entitled the Customs and Excise Amendment number 2 Bill 20 of 2025. The objects of the bill are to A, revise the rates of customs and excise duty payable on certain goods. B, introduce specific duty rates on used hybrid vehicles. C, introduce excise duty on firearms and bullets. D, revise the list of goods subject to surtax at importation. And E, provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Let the bill be read the first time.
The Customs Excise Amendment number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 20 of 2025.
The bill stands referred to the Planning and Budgeting Committee. The committee is required to submit its report on the bill to the House by Tuesday, 25th November 2025. Honorable members who wish to make submissions on the bill are free to do so within the program of work of the committee. Next bill, the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Plan.
Madam Speaker, I beg to present a bill entitled the Value Added Tax Amendment Bill, Bill number 21 of 2025. The object of this bill is to amend the Value Added Tax Act so as to provide for remission of unrecovered tax, fine, or interest due. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Let the bill be read the first time.
The Value Added Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 21 of 2025.
The bill stands referred to the Planning and Budgeting Committee. The committee is required to submit its report on the bill to the House by 25th November 2025. Honorable members who wish to make submissions on the bill are free to do so within the program of work of the committee. Next bill, the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Madam Speaker, I beg to present a bill entitled the Zambia Revenue Authority Bill number 22 of 2025. The objects of this bill are to A, revise the functions of the governing board of the authority, B, provide for the exchange of information, and C, provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Let the bill be read the first time.
The Revenue Authority Amendment Bill number 22 of 2025.
The bill stands referred to the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labor Matters. The committee is required to submit its report on the bill to the House by Tuesday, 25th November 2025. Honorable members who wish to make submissions on the bill are free to do so within the program of work of the committee. Next bill, the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Madam Speaker, I beg to present a bill.
Order. As the time is 16:40, I suspend business for 20 minutes. We have break.
Well, good afternoon and thank you for still being with us on Parliament Television. Business has been suspended for a 20 minutes break, and on the floor of the House was the Minister of Finance and National Planning, who was just about to present government bill under consideration, government bills which are being presented by the Minister of Finance and National Planning. And so when business resumes after the break, we do expect the Minister of Finance and National Planning to present the Property Transfer Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2025, a bill seeking to amend Property Transfer Tax Act.
Yes, indeed, the sole business did commence at 14 hours, and when business started, we did see Madam Speaker make those two announcements, and then the first announcement recognized the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from the following schools in Senga Hill Parliamentary Constituency, Manje Secondary School, Kalili Secondary School, Senga Hill Secondary School, Bandede Secondary School.
And she also did recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Mary God Trust Christian School in Lusaka District. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcome the visitors to the National Assembly.
Yes, indeed, and Madam Speaker thereafter did render a ruling. Madam Speaker gave two rulings, and I'll be able to give you the details of those two rulings after business is concluded for today.
And just now, we take a break. Keep watching Parliament Television, the only station dedicated to bringing Parliament closer to you.
The collaboration between the National Assembly of